I'm Lilly Berretta.
I'm Sophie Gad.
And we collabed together with our presentation because we both worked at Baltimore Witness. And so I hope you enjoy. Okay, so let's start with the purpose. As you guys kind of, I don't know if you remember from Mackenzie, but so we are a journalist site. We're a nonprofit, and we marry journalism with transparent data. We focus on non-fatal shootings, homicides, and most importantly, within our mission, we consider the legal system as a whole, which is very vital. So we consider, prosecutors, first responders, etc. And so what we do, we produce content about cases that come across our desk. So we're built with interns, and we all report on cases. And Baltimore Witness, we are partners with DC, so we're like a little subsection from DC, but DC's our main hub. That's what we do. That's our purpose.
Okay, so the power of data. So overall, Baltimore Witness's main goal is to provide transparency with like all the cases that they focus on. So rather than like how other news outlets will like pick and choose what kind of cases they're presenting, we'll specifically, like Lily said, we'll do only non-fatal shootings and homicides, but we'll do all the cases that are on the docket every single day. So one of the interns will like create the calendar for the day, and they'll go every morning. The court will post all the cases, and then we would have to put all the case numbers into case search, and then see if it applies to us, if it's like non-fatal shooting or homicide. So that's how we actually choose the case, not like choose the cases, but like, you know what I mean, the cases that we're covering. And it's important to provide like all the reliable and data that's coming from the court hearings. Oh, and also we use an interactive map on, if you actually go on the website, I can show you after, but we pinpoint like all the locations where all of the shootings or homicides occur in Baltimore City. So you can see, I can show you after, but it's like a map of Baltimore City, and then it's like outlines the actual city versus the county and pinpoints with different like markers, like the shootings and the homicides, so you can see how they're scattered out throughout the city.
Okay, so now getting more personal. So my role, my schedule has kind of shifted. Originally I was working Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays all in person. But due to just transportation reasons and also just like my schedule and lack of time, I transferred into Tuesdays and Thursdays online. And so Tuesday and Thursday I work from home, and that's when I mostly work on data. And Fridays I cover in-person hearings. And that's where I'll produce, I'll write, and conduct further research. And yeah, so one thing I did want to note that's very important during my day is, so since we work with the court system, it can be very unreliable as I've come to learn. And so as an intern, now that we've transitioned back into in-person trial and proceedings, we kind of have to be ready for these unforeseen disruptions to like, our busy schedule during the day, since we do publish daily on our website. And so I've kind of, with this transition of going online, but then also back in person just on Fridays, I've had to kind of adjust to, having to possibly reach out to a defense lawyer because I've missed a certain, piece of the case that is needed for my work. And so that's definitely something that has kind of like also brought, excitement into my role, kind of, because I feel special. I'm like calling defense and, talking about kind of serious stuff. So yeah, I just wanted to note that, but that's my typical day. And so some triumphs. This is where I really wanted to take the time to kind of also note some of my issues with the internship. So I've kind of, for the slide, reached for like the silver lining kind of point of view, because I personally haven't had the best experience. I went into the role thinking that I'd be a lot more hands-on, but because of my schedule and, you know, school, I had to go online, and that kind of, you know, definitely took away from the experience. But also just management. We've had issues with scheduling and communication between head officers and also just us interns. And it's been tricky, you know, since we're also not getting paid. So just kind of inherently putting in that extra effort that I know is needed in other areas as well. So going back to kind of the silver lining, I, in this way, was kind of forced to navigate a challenging internal conflict that could definitely come up in the future with a company. So that, yeah, sorry. So that's like definitely a main point. Another point that I made on the slide is within the work that I have done and I have achieved and my successes, I'm most proud of probably my data abilities. I've become very proficient in all Microsoft platforms. I'm able to read legal documents that are not common knowledge. And I'm also able to kind of balance and work between different bases at once, which is a whole other skill. So yeah. Okay. And so, yeah, so self-growth, just kind of transitioning, going back into what I kind of already said. I don't know, I think I also grew a lot of confidence in like myself and my abilities and now what I expect in a place of work because of that silver lining. And I mean, I also experienced a journalist position, which I've never done before, which was very cool. And now I know I don't want to go into it. So, but yeah, this stuff just kind of reiterates, you know what I'm saying?
So my typical day, at the internship, I'm also remote, like Mondays and Wednesdays. I've never been in person. So my experience is like really different than everyone else's. So since I can't go into the like courthouse itself, I do everything that you can only do like online. So on Mondays and Wednesdays, I'll Zoom into reception court, but it's not like actually on Zoom, you just like call on the phone. And in reception court, it's like plea offers, scheduling trials, just getting like quick information. So I would like record all that data and then update them within the articles on the website. And then on Wednesdays at 1 o'clock, well, reception court starts at 8:45 and that'll go until like 12, 1. Sometimes they go on break at like 12, like lunch break, and then they'll come back at 1 for like the last couple of cases, but it usually ends at 1. And then I'll go into mental health court, which is only on Wednesdays at 1, and that's for all the defendants that are either like incarcerated or have to do the mental health court program or are in like any sort of rehab or anything as part of their case. And I've also, like Lily was just saying, have done research on defendants. Whenever someone's case is like missed or we like just didn't hear it, or one of the interns misses it, I'll call any of like the public defenders or the attorneys or the state attorney's office to get an update on their verdicts or if they accepted the plea or what the plea offer actually was. And then, as I said before, I'll write articles, fill out all the data forms on the defendants, and then complete Slacks, which is part of like the social media aspect of Baltimore Witness, and we'll just do like a quick like kind of like a tweet with like the most like interesting information from that court hearing for like readers. So that's what I do. My triumphs as an intern. I would say I'm pretty proud of all the articles that I've written. I think I've written around like 40 articles this semester. And my favorite one that I wrote, I think Dr. Kanani, we talked about it once, was has anyone seen The Wire? Well, one of the characters on the Wire, he is the son of the former Baltimore police commissioner, and he was convicted of stabbing his roommate. And I didn't get to, this was like way before I joined the internship, but the one mental health court hearing that I was in, he graduated that day, so like he was completely done. And they were just talking about how proud they are of him, and his whole family was there. So I also thought it was cool because he was also like an actor. He's actually acting in a play right now and then a new HBO show. What's it called actually? I think I wrote it. Is it the bottom? Oh, it's called We Own This City. He's gonna be in that, which I thought was cool. Sorry. So that was my favorite case that I worked on. And my experience at Baltimore Witness also showed me like the pros and the cons of the legal field and also working with a nonprofit organization. Sorry. And also like the difficulties of being a student and also interning, also at like a new organization like this, like Lily was saying with the difficulties with our supervisor and everything. I think it was hard for them since it was like their first year doing it. Their first batch of interns was over the summer and they obviously didn't have school. So with us being like their first round of students and interns, I don't think they like not understood.
It wasn't as smooth of a transition.
Yeah, it wasn't like easy for them and for us, especially with like art classes being like throughout the day. But it was a good like learning experience for the future. My self-growth, I think my communication skills have improved, especially with like communicating with other attorneys, because like there'll be some days I'm just like calling on the phone and like you actually like have to prepare like what you're saying beforehand, not like, hi, can I get this, you know, like to make it sound professional. And also, well, the only reason like I was interested in this internship was because I'm interested in like criminal law and like going to law school and being a criminal lawyer. So I got like that aspect of it, but I feel like it was more like journalistic, more like writing, which I'm not really interested in. But obviously being a lawyer, you have to be like good at writing to do all like your legal documents and stuff. So I think it was good practice on that end, but I wouldn't want to do that again.
Okay, so here, Sophie and I, we were brainstorming and so obviously there's a wide range of possibility and interpretation with our work. And so we were considering and thought of the sociological mindfulness by Michael, okay, I said Schwalbe here, but it's Schwalbe, right? Schwalbe, that's what I meant, sorry. And so his theory here, you know, really challenges the American view of like individualism and you know, focuses on paying attention to the hardships and, you know, options other people face. So that's very crucial because in one aspect, I kind of took this point of view and actually applied it to my own internal issues. You know, like Sophie was saying, we're a very new branch of our organization. You know, we're underfunded. I'm thinking of the situation of, you know, our main boss and point of contact is actually from DC and, you know, drives in. So maybe because of that, there were, you know, a lot of management issues, and I can't generalize and think, oh, all journalism is going to be that crappy and underpaid, you know, whatever. But then also in another light, the work that we do, you know, very sensitive, emotionally sensitive topics, mental health court, criminal, whatever it may be, working with victims and their families. So there's also that aspect to the social work. And so in that view, you know, this mindfulness is very important. And yes. Sorry, I have my notes. But yeah, I don't know if you have any. But on the bottom here, I just also put that due to the various branches of our legal system, it is vital to assess the consideration. To assess with consideration its many parts. There can be and is reason for why a legal subsidiary might be ailed with corruption and why discriminatory ideologies persist. So, you know, these are deep-rooted policy systemic issues when we want to think of social inequality within the system that we work in. And then also from just like an internship perspective, I mentioned how this mindset is very influential and vital to how, you know, professionals within this sector perform and do their job, because ethically it can be a very tedious, I feel like might be a good word, responsibility. So yeah.
I also think it's like like a good experience in the way that since we're only focusing on like Baltimore City, compared to where like some of us like actually like grew up, or like where we're moving after college, and like the different cases that we'll see, and also like the different socioeconomic backgrounds that are like implemented with the different defendants, is interesting to see compared to like other internships that I've had. The cases were completely different and less like what's a good word to use? Less like, you know, less not like danger, not, you know, like, yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? Like compared to like if I was, never mind.
Well, you're looking at a very specific subset of cases.
Yeah, no, exactly. But I feel like compared to different cases, like in a different like city or like town, it'd be completely different.
Mhm.
Do you know what I mean? Oh, this is nice. So for our research topics, mine is going to be the discrepancies in sentencing based on defendants who have public defenders and private attorneys. And I was saying before, I'm going to go into like the different socioeconomic backgrounds that the different defendants have and how it affects their sentencing.
So I'm going to be focusing on recidivism and prison education programs. So I can even, you know, even with this topic, consider the sociological mindfulness, you know, from that point of view. I am visiting prison education programs, so including programs, rehabilitation, education, reentry, and, you know, what happens when someone who is incarcerated starts in a program, starts to get a degree, and then their sentence ends before they finish that degree. Can they finish it once they're out? How do those credits transfer? What does that language kind of look like? And do these programs, to their success, do they help decrease recidivism in that way? Also comparing jail and prison, because those are two completely different things, and funding and programming very different. So, yeah. Yeah, I think that's all.
Thank you.